Okay, Paul. Yep.
Time is now 7 p.m. It is April 14th, 2026. This is our regular scheduled meeting. Steve, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Galise.
Here.
Mr. Gasparini.
Here.
Councilman LaForgia.
Here.
Mr. Spila. Mr. Perino.
Here.
Mr. Palafante. Mr. Dutcher.
Here.
Mr. Castelli.
Here.
Mr. Latimer.
Here.
Chairman Cafone.
Here. Can everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business, can we have approval of the minutes for March 10th, 2026 regular meeting?
So moved.
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Gasparini.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Perino.
Aye.
Mr. Dutcher.
Aye.
Mr. Castelli.
Aye.
Mr. Latimer. Chairman Cafone.
Aye. We have a memorialization of resolution, application 3-2025, Sapphire Flavor, 6 Commerce Road, block 5501, lot 19. This is a minor site plan. Can we have approval of this resolution?
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mr. Gasparini.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Perino.
Aye.
Mr. Dutcher.
Aye.
Mr. Castelli.
Aye.
Mr. Latimer. Chairman Cafone.
Aye. Next, we have application 4-2019-6. This is Cambridge Office Park, 6710 Cambridge Office Park, block 2301, lot 2. This is an amended preliminary and final site plan. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mr. Gasparini.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Perino. Mr. Dutcher.
Aye.
Mr. Castelli. Mr. Latimer. Chairman Cafone.
Aye. And under old business, we have application 2-2025 Toll New Jersey 1 LLC, 100 West Greenbrook Road, North Caldwell, New Jersey, 07006, block 2101, lot 8.03. This is a preliminary and final site plan, major subdivision.
Okay. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes? I know we
Yes.
don't have any public here, but you're picking me up on the microphone. I know we're having issues. Okay, perfect. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all again. I'm Kate Coffey from Day Pitney. As you know by now, I'm here on behalf of Toll NJ1 LLC. The property that we're talking about is located at 56 through 100 Greenbrook Road in Fairfield. Our blocks and lots are block 1902, lots 12 and 13, block 2003, lot 1, and block 2101, lot 8.03. We are in the IRO, Inclusionary Residential Overlay Zone. And what we are seeking is a major subdivision and site plan approval to create 150 fee simple lots, which will each contain a single family home. 7 open space lots, and 1 lot that will contain 2 affordable buildings, 1 with 18 affordable family units, and 1 with 17 age-restricted affordable units. We were last here with you on March 10th, and we are back this evening. As you all know, the IRO overlay zone was adopted by Fairfield as part of its implementation of its 3rd round affordable housing plan and settlement agreement. We are fully conforming with your IR zone, and no variances are being requested as part of the application. When we were with you in March, we were going over Mr. Petrie's review memoranda and closing out comments there. Following that meeting, we submitted correspondence to the board, which addressed all of the outstanding comments and identified some items that would be addressed during resolution compliance, as had been discussed at our meeting. We also made a new submission to the board as part of that response letter. That submission included a revised overall site plan rendering, which showed the relocated refuse area. You'll recall that we had agreed at the last meeting to relocate the dumpster to be between the two affordable buildings, so it would be less of a walk for the residents. It also showed the inclusion of parking and accessible parking by the mail kiosk at the entry of the building. So that's included on that plan. We provided updated access and circulation exhibits. And one of the important changes in those exhibits that you will have seen, and it was accompanied with an updated traffic report, is what the applicant has been able to utilize the access easement that goes through the Executive Center Office Park, which we had previously proposed to use for emergency access, to now be an alternate to the Old Mill Road access, but on a full-time basis. So that's available 24/7 to motorists coming and going from the community. And you'll hear more from Mr. Pankey, who's sitting next to me, about the impact of that change. But we think it's a great improvement with respect to circulation for Old Mill Road and West Greenbrook Road. We also submitted an updated fire truck turning exhibit, which is something Mr. Petrie been asking for a while. Updated vehicle maneuverability plan. Talked about the traffic study already. There's also an updated Old Mill Road intersection design that we submitted. Mr. Petrie in some of our prior meetings had talked about concerns relative to how that intersection was going to work, including site distances, the driveways for the two residences that flank that the bridge. And so we have an exhibit that's going to show how that's going to work and the improvements that are being proposed, which Mr. Pankey will review this evening. We also provided some other materials that Mr. Petrie's office had been asking for, including our NJDEP LOI mapping and environmental materials, sanitary sewer capacity analysis, and I think that's it. In terms of materials that were submitted, as a reminder, I know we don't, oh, I can't see that far. Oh, and the geotech analysis, thank you. We also provided our geotech report. And I was just gonna say, again, I know we don't have any public here, but the changes that were previously made, which had been important to the Sterling Green folks, remain a part of the plan. You'll recall that included relocating units as well as modifying the retaining walls to ensure that we're being good neighbors to those folks. All of that continues to be part of the plan. Other accommodations that have been made, you'll recall, is we've agreed that our HOA will own and maintain the on-site sanitary sewer infrastructure, which was a request from the board. And we also agreed that we'll coordinate with your DPW and take on ownership to the extent we can under the current BWSE permit. We've talked before, the applicant has agreed to take on ownership of the Old Mill Road Bridge, which was something the county asked the applicant to take on. And the applicant has indicated that if North Caldwell vacates Old Mill Road, which is currently a public North Caldwell road, the applicant will agree to take ownership of that road as well as maintenance responsibility for the road. Let's see. Just as a reminder on parking and circulation, the applicants agreed to Title 39. It's also agreed to comply with your overnight parking requirements. And we also agreed to assign the parking spaces within the affordable parking lot, which is something that the board had requested that the applicant do. Okay. So I think without further ado, the plan for this evening is with Mr. Pankey, who's the project's traffic engineer. He's testified before. He's back this evening to talk about the updated study and exhibits that were submitted as part of the application. And then we also expect that our planner will be here. We did receive an updated memorandum from the board's planner. And so our planner will touch on those comments as well as talk about the overall project and its conformance with your IRO zoning ordinance. I think with that, we can go to Mr. Pankey. Mr. Pankey's previously been sworn.
Mr. Pinckney, just for the record, can you state and spell your name?
Certainly. For the record, my name is Carl with a K, Penke, P as in Peter, E-H-N-K-E.
And as your attorney said, you've been previously sworn and qualified. None of your licenses or any issues have happened that you're not
Just-
qualified.
Just renewed my license for 3 more years.
Very good.
Okay,
So
staying out of trouble.
Continues as an extra.
Okay, so, Mr. Pankey, I'll ask you if you can please review the changes that we've made to the plans with the board.
Certainly, yeah. There's a few things I'd like to cover tonight. Mr. Cruz couldn't be here this evening because of a family obligation, so he asked me to cover a few changes on the site plan that are pertinent to the exhibits that have been submitted. One part of that obviously affects the traffic study that I'll talk to tonight. And then I'd like to just walk through briefly the revised updated traffic study that was submitted dated March of this year, and then a little bit of discussion as to the changes that have occurred to the Old Mill Road, Greenbrook Road intersection. We've had the advantage, obviously, over the course of the last year to receive input from this board, from your consultants, from obviously your adjacent community, North Caldwell, and their consultants, and we've onboarded all of that information over the course of the year, and we think we've accommodated quite a few of the comments and suggestions and recommendations over the course of the year to develop a better plan, and basically I'd like to walk through that this evening and explain what has occurred and what we think is now the operations and design of the community that we would like to build here. So to start with, I want to move to an overall exhibit. I don't know where we are on exhibit numbers.
So let me ask you, Mr. King, this is a exhibit that was submitted as part of our most recent submission. Would you like us, right there,
I think you
do
could
you want us to mark it or just put it up?
I think you could just put it up and refer to whatever the page is.
Perfect.
So the first exhibit that I'm going to talk to is entitled Overall Site Plan, Whistling Estates at Fairfield, dated April 2nd of 2026. This shows the current layout of the site. And with regard to this exhibit, I think one of the key elements I want to talk to before I get to a more a closer-in shot is the addition of a bank of 5 parking spaces near the cluster mailbox. That has been added to the plan based upon questions and comments that have been received. So that will consist of 5 parking spaces constructed along Road B. One of those spaces will be a handicap accessible space, and the sidewalk system connecting to the cluster mailbox is ADA accessible. So that is one change to the plan that has been implemented and will be carried forward. So from there, I think I'll drop down to a more detailed area of the site, which there's been a few other changes, and that's with regard to the 2 multifamily buildings that have been
Just for identification.
constructed. Sure. So this exhibit, again, which was submitted, is called Access Exhibit, Whistling Estates at Fairfield, also entitled April 2nd, 2026. And it basically is looking at the northwest quadrant of the site in a little more detail. So again, we have Road B, we have the cluster of 5 spaces that I just pointed to on the overall plan near the cluster mailbox, and then the multifamily buildings. So the change that has occurred at the multifamily buildings basically involves the relocation of the dumpster and dumpster pad from the western end of the parking lot to a location in closer proximity to the 2 buildings, basically between the 2 buildings with ADA accessible routes to the dumpster pad, and then with the modification of that location, a few parking spaces that were previously in this location has been relocated to where the prior dumpster pad was located. So basically, we're swapping the location to more accessible, convenient locations to Building 1 and Building 2.
Oh, hang on. Yep.
About that? If looking at this, is that, the garbage truck will come down that little roadway there? How will the garbage be picked up out of the dumpster?
Basically, a garbage truck can circulate the entire internal roadway system. The truck turning templates that have been provided would show the vehicle coming in, circulating around aisle 1 and aisle 2,
Okay.
head into the dumpster location where the pads can be rolled out, loaded into the truck, and then move out of the site. But that all works from a turning template standpoint.
And one more question, is all of the mail gonna be in that one spot for all of the houses? Will they all be, that's what the post office will go right there and that's it?
Yeah.
Not really any individual,
So for the single-family homes, all
Yes.
of the mail will be at that kiosk. That's actually the post office's preference as well, rather than
no,
going
I
door
would
to door.
understand that,
And
but-
then for the affordable apartments, that's located within the senior building.
Okay.
They have their own mail area.
Thank you.
The other change that's occurred in this parking lot is the EVA, the electric vehicle parking charging stations. There are 11 of them. Mr. Petrie had pointed out that at least one of the 11 has to be striped to handicap accessible dimensions, so we've done that. What that has done is it's just reduced the parking count from 74 down to 73 spaces. 66 spaces are required, so we still have more than enough parking, and we've accommodated the ability for the EV spaces to comply with the EV statewide ordinances. So those are the changes that have been occurred on the site plan. The other significant,
Quick question for you. The EV spots, they're not gonna be numbered, correct?
they're not numbered.
But if someone is there and has an EV vehicle, how does that work as far as their numbered spot versus an unnumbered spot? Their numbered spot becomes,
Basically, they share into those spaces, and there's excess spaces in this parking field, so you move in it. Under the EV laws, you're supposed to actually move in and out after you've charged your vehicle. I should note that we have noted on the plans, or Mr. Cruz has noted on the plans, that we have agreed to assign, and we haven't specifically done that yet, it'll be part of the management, 1 space per unit actually have assigned. So more than likely, the spaces that are proximate to the buildings will get those assigned, and those more remote will be the more shared and visitor parking for this facility. So that was the other change on the plans in terms of a note.
Are the fire department connections within a space of the parking spaces? The fire department ask you to remove some spaces to get to the fire department connection from the connection to the hydrant from the pumper?
What's that?
I-
The hydrants are located at the end of the islands, so they've been located at a location that's accessible.
Accessible, okay.
So the other change, if you recall, when I was here last, we had made a modification at the request of Mr. Petrie to add an additional emergency access. The issue and concern was that should the bridge go down, there was a way for the community to get in and out of the site. So at that point in time, we had designed this new access connection from the community down to the Executive Corporate Park driveway through an access easement that existed. At that point in time, we were envisioning it to be an emergency access connection designed to residential site improvement standards. The intent being that should an event occur, we could have at that time opened that road to traffic as well as obviously emergency vehicles. We still have the emergency vehicle access at the back end of the community, which is emergency vehicles only. So what's occurred over the ensuing months since I was here last is we further explored the ability to augment the plan and access to the plan and our rights to the access easement, which is basically a circulation roadway going back to the prior exhibit of the overall site plan, is an easement that runs through the corporate park, the executive center, from Passaic Avenue to West Greenbrook Road, providing basically an easement opportunity for traffic to come in from Passaic Avenue and traffic to come in and out from West Greenbrook Road. And what we've determined and have now moved forward with is that road, what we're calling now Road E, will be open 24/7 and becomes a second point of access in and out of the community. That allows basically the traffic to distribute in multiple different directions. And that's where the updated traffic study comes from. The March 6th traffic study was revised to take into account the benefits of the change in traffic patterns that would occur by allowing the 2 points of access to occur. And in effect, what we did in the traffic study is we did go back out in February, took some additional traffic counts on Passaic Avenue at the Executive Park driveway and at West Greenbrook Road in the Executive Park driveway. Those counts actually compared very well with our prior traffic data that was in the prior traffic study, so it continues to verify the data sources that we've had. And we updated the study to reflect the traffic patterns that would occur with the secondary axis. And basically what will happen is the traffic coming from the south on Passaic Avenue will now have a direct access into the whole community. So we expect the traffic that we previously anticipated to come up to West Greenbrook Road, come over to Old Mill Road and come into the community, now can directly just come into the community. So it's about a 13% reduction in traffic coming into the community that is now diverted away from West Greenbrook Road and Old Mill Road. And then similarly, there's a little bit of traffic from the north that continues to come in from the north on Passaic Avenue. That traffic will actually split. Some will be desirable about coming in on this access easement in Road E to the units that are proximate to that access, but there'll still be traffic that would find it desirable to come up to Old Mill Road. So the traffic splits from that standpoint. And similarly on the outbound, you have the same type of pattern, that the units that will find it convenient to go out the Road E access will dissipate to that Road E access. Most of the outbound traffic would go to West Greenbrook Road because, as you may be aware, at Passaic Avenue, you can't make a left out of the Executive Park. So that was factored into the traffic study. What it basically does at the end of the day is it's relieved the traffic at Old Mill Road by about 35%, which just makes the results of our analysis, which we designed for 100%, that much better. And more importantly, it gives choices, it gives the ability to move around. And one of the ancillary benefits of having Road E is the people that live here will know the traffic patterns on the adjacent roadway. And as we talked about at the last meeting, West Greenbrook Road is influenced by the school campus. So people that now live here that know that at a certain time in that morning, that half-hour period, avoid it, and they can now avoid it and get out. So that'll be an ancillary benefit that the community will experience and enjoy with the additional access. So, you know, the supplemental access from a traffic standpoint just makes the plan that much better, creates choices from a traffic standpoint, and allows our traffic to dissipate more, reducing the impacts on both North Caldwell as well as Fairfield. So that's the big benefit. That being said,
Question
Excuse
for
me.
you.
sure.
Has there been any consideration on a traffic light there? I know it's a little redundant because you have the one at I guess it's Lehan, or Jahan, I'm sorry. But you know, that exit, I happen to be pretty familiar with it because I used to do the snow removal at 100 Passaic Avenue, and making that left can get hairy at times, and now you're introducing potentially, you know, however many homes using that as full access in
There's
and
no
out.
left over there.
Getting in and out of that driveway can become fun.
The level of service at that intersection continues to operate acceptably at an unsignalized condition. More importantly, we would not meet the warrants for a traffic signal, and I wouldn't really believe that introducing a traffic signal at this location would make some sense along that flow. But the traffic study does show, and that's why we took the counts, and the updated analysis shows that the intersection will continue. And really, it's basically because you have now an office park that has certain characteristics in terms of inbound in the morning, outbound in the evening, where residential is more outbound in the morning and a lot more moderated inbound, outbound in the evening. So its impacts are not as if I was adding another office in here that is just adding to that peak direction of traffic. So that's why it tends to work pretty well. It's able to take advantage of the off-peak direction capacities that are there. And that was an important part of us checking the viability of adding Road E when we determined that we wanted to open it to traffic.
Hold on one second.
Is that road gonna need improvement at all, repaving or anything to?
The executive park is in fairly good shape. Drove through there tonight. It is a part of the executive campus. It does not have any parking directly fronting it. It has a few stop signs along its way, but it's in pretty good shape, and its obligations to maintain it through the future remain with the owner of the executive park. So that's the site plan changes, and really from a traffic standpoint, the major access change that's made circulation well. There's also been a lot of attention paid to
Just
the,
for the record.
yeah. I'm bringing up exhibit entitled West Greenbrook Road Improvements, and that is prepared by my office, and it's dated 3/1 of 2026.
And this was also submitted as part of the most recent submission to the board.
Correct. So over the last year, there's been a lot of attention paid to this intersection by yourselves as well as North Caldwell, Mr. Petrie, and a lot of input, questions, suggestions have been provided, and the plan has refined itself. And there's a couple of key things that have changed over the course of the last year. Back when I was here last, the one thing we had talked about was the Old Mill Road cartway itself, which is a little narrower than 28 feet existing. And Mr. Petrie had asked that we carry the 28 feet from the project, the project out to West Greenbrook Road. So we've done that. So now there'll be a consistent section of Old Mill Road. It won't slide in and out. It'll be the same cartway all the way through and as it enters into the community. As we had talked last time, a sidewalk was proposed that connects to the internal sidewalk system of the estates. That sidewalk comes up in a easement that runs along the west side of Old Mill Road and continues out to West Greenbrook Road. When I originally designed the plan that you saw back, I guess it was like November of last year, and I was here last, we had designed a pedestrian crossing system through the signal that basically brought a pedestrian across Old Mill Road, across the east side of West Greenbrook Road, and then up into the school system. Since that time, we've further evaluated the grading and the conditions in the southwest quadrant and have determined that we could have a more direct path. So the sidewalk has been revised to directly cross on the western side to the school path system and continue through. We do maintain a crossing of Old Mill Road, and we do maintain a crossing of J-Hand Drive. We need to do that for pedestrian safety. I will note the one thing on this plan that will change at the end of the day is, as a result of conversations with North Caldwell, the redundant crossing that I previously had on the eastern leg has been requested to be removed. It's sort of redundant, doesn't really provide anything, and the thought was we want to make sure that we encourage the path to be direct. So that actually in the final plan will be taken off, but there will be a crossing, a safe crossing of Old Mill, there'll be a safe crossing of J-Hand, and then there'll be a safe crossing of West Greenbrook Road.
What's the point of the crossing on Old Mill if it goes nowhere?
Basically, because somebody might walk across it, in today's world, when you have a traffic signal, you just want to make sure that somebody that chooses to do it has a safe path, has a safe, you know, if it's a handicapped person, they have a safe landing. It's what we do now. I'll be out in the middle of Hunterdon County with rural intersections, and it's fully pedestrian accommodating, because who knows in the future, right?
Thank you.
What I should note on this plan, just to give you a little bit of idea, is color coding. The blue color coding is actual widening. So early on, and I had testified to this at the last meeting, we had worked with the county to design a widening to add the right turn lane into J-Hand Drive. That required some right-of-way acquisition from the residential commercial home in that northeast quadrant. That has been accomplished. and that blue is a physical widening of the roadway along that north side of West Greenbrook Road. The county also had us do some widening along the south side to improve the radii, to improve the lane heading in the eastbound direction. And then, as we just talked about, Mr. Petrie asked that we have the cartway width of Old Mill Road itself consistent to that 28 feet. So the blue basically depicts the physical widening. There will also be, at the county's request, some right-of-way dedication on the south side of Old Mill Road to bring the right-of-way, which is right behind the curb today, up to their standard border width of 10 feet for maintenance purposes and utilities and whatever else might be put into those areas in the future. The yellow is the pedestrian path, as I've said. The last is the purple colored changes, and that is, again, changes that have occurred as a result of input from your consultants. And basically what's occurring is for the home that's in the southwest quadrant, today their driveway comes in and out right next to where the culvert crossing is and the parapets are. Mr. Petrie was concerned, rightfully, that might create some blockage and some concern with regard to the movement of vehicles in and out of that home in proximity to that area. So we looked carefully at the grading in the front, and what we've designed is a move of that driveway well away from the intersection, up the hill a little bit, and now is it at a new location that provides proper sight lines looking down at the intersection, as well as the ability to maneuver on the site into and out of the two-car garage and along the frontage. Likewise, the house in the southeast quadrant has its driveway right near the bridge abutment also. The on-site area is actually as here. They have a big courtyard where there's a lot of maneuvering. Their garages are located in this right-hand car garage. So we're basically just taking their driveway, shifting it away from the bridge also. Again, good sight lines to the intersection, improved safety, and the maneuverability in and out of their garages and into their on-site parking spaces remains very, very, very functional. So there's an improvement in that situation. So all of that has come together to really make this a good design, good improvement that will be implemented with construction. The bridge will be rehabbed, and as you heard it earlier, the applicant is looking to take into the homeowner jurisdiction and maintenance responsibilities Old Mill Road, the structure of the bridge, which will be put into good condition before it is turned over to the homeowners association. The final design of this intersection obviously is subject to the county engineer, county traffic engineer, but we've already had their input, and we'll end up with an intersection that will function safely, better now that we have the secondary access, and will actually improve flow into the school system. That's basically, I think, the summary of improvements, and as I said, from my standpoint, we're here with a better plan, and that's what this process is supposed to be about.
Quick question. The reconfiguration of the two driveways of the homeowners, I assume, are okay with what you're doing?
We have control of the ability to do that,
Do that.
yes. Yes.
So the portion
So
of-
everything that's shown on this plan, we have the ability to do.
Okay, so the Old Mill Road, that little section is owned by the association, by the driveways? That's-
Right now, it is township of North Caldwell,
okay.
correct.
So in the event that North Caldwell wants to take ownership and not the association, what is the liability to the association if they choose to abandon it?
I
And-
don't
and
think
not-
that's the case at this point in time.
No?
If who abandons, just so I'm clear.
North Caldwell, because now that you've created another driveway. I just want to make sure that when we vote on this, being that it's really not a Fairfield project, it's a North Caldwell project. So I know we're voting on something that's in a different jurisdiction. Do we actually have jurisdiction over voting for this particular portion of the project?
Their zoning, the North Caldwell zoning ordinance explicitly permits this community to utilize Old Mill Road for access, whether it remains a North Caldwell public road or whether it becomes private. Their zoning ordinance
So there's
explicitly
no,
permits that.
there could be no confusion.
There's no
about
question
that.
of what if we don't get the access.
Right, right,
Yes.
just wondering.
Yeah.
Being that you've created another access at another portion of the property.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I think this board, because this provides access to the Fairfield portion of the development, this board has input on the access through Old Mill Road. I think Old Mill Road and the bridge that's associated with Old Mill Road are in North Caldwell, and I think North Caldwell has jurisdiction over that. So I think that if this board were to move forward at some point, when this board moves forward at some point with a vote, I think that it's appropriate to condition this board's actions on getting approval of the access and the bridge through North Caldwell.
It's an off-site improvement that really goes hand in hand with this application. It's
Yes,
critical.
I mean,
So
obviously it's
contingent
critical.
upon North Caldwell approving it, and I would believe probably Essex County, being it's Essex County roadway.
Essex County's certainly going to have to approve the intersection improvements as well. So those are both, I think, reasonable conditions that I don't think the applicant's gonna argue with, because they've been working as long on this with North Caldwell as they have with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mr. Petrie, I appreciate how you said that, because it's the approval of the access that's really the important part, in terms of, yep, so, thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
I just have one question on the road from Passaic Avenue. What about lighting? Is there gonna be any change in lighting on that road? Is there lighting on that road?
There is lighting within the executive park. We are not proposing any changes to lighting through there. It'll remain as is.
Will it be totally dark, or do you think it needs lighting, or not really?
Not really. I mean, in today's day and age, we generally don't light the length of roadways, like internal to this camp, to this community. We're not lighting along the road. You light intersections, because that's where you have decision points being made and vehicles needing to be able to see pedestrians crossing an intersection or vehicles making a turn. So in most instances today, in today's age, we light intersections and not the length of roadways.
And what about striping? Is there gonna be striping or no striping?
There's no striping proposed internally. It's a two-lane road, but it functions as a circulatory road. As I said, there's no parking along that road. I don't see any need to change that function. It's been functioning adequately for the office uses. The addition of residential traffic to it really doesn't change that function.
Will there be signs saying no parking, or you're just gonna assume that it won't be a problem?
I don't know why anybody would park along that road. There's specific parking fields available for the office buildings, and I'm unaware of any parking problems that cause people to park along the roadway.
Thank you.
This is an existing spine that runs through the office complex, and the parking lots are located off of that spine. So there's a series of access points from this drive aisle, in essence, into. The only comment I'll make on that is that, and I don't recall Mr. Cruz's plans, if there was lighting proposed or existing lighting at the intersection that's being created between Road E and this driveway that goes through, but we may want to look at that as one of the.
So that, what you're talking about is that one intersection there? Yeah.
Oh, up top.
Yeah,
We can look at that.
yeah. So if there's lighting that's necessary, as
Right.
Mr. Penke said, you want to light the intersection. So there are lights along that road, and I don't know what the timing of those lights are today. My guess is that they are part of the emergency lighting that stays lit for the office. If they're not, perhaps that's something that needs to be considered. And I don't know where the closest light to that proposed intersection is, but that's something that.
I would also agree, Mike, that there should be, at the turn going onto the property, there's some kind of a light lamppost or something.
Yes.
And, because that's a considerable turn they would have to make there. So I think lighting would be a safety issue for that.
If I may, what I'd suggest is that the applicant would coordinate with Mr. Petrie as a condition of approval to coordinate on what lighting needs to be installed at that
And the
intersection.
timing, and if there's gonna be, if it's gonna be a permanent road, I mean, I think there should be some lights on it in the evening.
I would have to look with the applicant's engineer as to what lights are on today.
Right.
Like,
I,
you know,
I would agree with you.
and if we have to do something to that intersection, I think that's a reasonable condition.
Yeah.
We agree.
I have a question. Can you remind me, are there any speed humps or speed bumps in the internal roadway within the area, like of the single-family units?
We are not proposing any speed bumps or humps. We don't believe that they're needed. They're designed per RSIS as 25-mile-per-hour roads. And you know, as you can see, there's the driveways and the spacing of the residential sort of creates the that residential feel. So we don't see the need for any kind of speed humps or anything of that nature. And those things become maintenance headaches for the homeowners association. They also become nuisances sometimes when you hit them bumps.
Mr. Pinky, I know you said that they were designed for 25 miles an hour, but I think testimony was provided earlier that they're going to be posted for 15. Is that still correct? I'm not positive of that statement, but I think.
Yeah, if that's what Mr. Cruz worked out in the end, that's.
Yeah. Do you propose any signage at the end of Road E where it meets the where it meets the
It
easement?
would be a stop sign.
And,
No- Nothing that identifies the development?
No, and that's really our front door and our dedication, and where there's an easement for a sign for the community up on Old Mill Road in Jahan. That's really the public end, the front door to this community. This really is a secondary point of access, and we don't have the rights to put any kind of signage identifying the community at either end of that. So people that live there will know how to do it.
Will there be a name to the road?
Yeah, everything gets named. I think that's
So there'll
worked
be
out.
a street sign there?
Yeah. Yeah, that gets worked out through the municipality in terms of these road names.
just returning to Mr. Petrie's question about the speed limit, my understanding is the plans, when we were looking at the road curvatures, they were analyzed for 30 miles per hour, and we updated the plans to have a posting of 25 miles per hour, which will also enable Title 39 enforcement.
Okay, I have no objection with that. I think posting at 25 is appropriate. They were designed for 25, and the 30-mile-an-hour sight distance is what you use when you're analyzing a road at 25, so I think it's appropriate.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none?
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask one more of Mr. Penke while he's there, because I think this is important. This is something that this board had a lot of concerns about. Mr. Penke, could you put up your exhibit with regards to the intersection, please? Now, we had discussions, and I raised issues regarding the fact that this was an offset intersection. I think that the modifications that Mr. Penke has made are significant, and I think that it's a huge improvement. I mean, first of all, bringing the pedestrians to the left makes perfect sense, less crossings. Additionally, and I think I didn't know this until we were in the middle of the North Caldwell board meeting at the last hearing. The outgoing movement for Old Mill Road will have its straight movement into the high school into the slip lane. So it's a straight movement. And the stop bar has been backed up, and there's gonna be a red arrow for that to allow that movement to occur. So the offset only happens with people exiting the high school, coming back into Old Mill Road, where you have a substantial improved radius on the curve, on the return there. So I have less of a concern of the offset because of the modifications that Mr. Penke's made to this intersection.
Thank you, Mr. Petrie. Before we move to our planner, Mr. Chairman, did you want to hear from the public?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody from the public like to be heard as on the traffic study only?
Questions?
Any questions from the public? Seeing none, it's closed.
Okay. In that case, thank you, Mr. Pankey. We'll ask that our planner, Matthew Flynn, join us, please. We always have a contingency. That's right.
Sir, you raise your right hand. You swear a firm testimony you're about to give before the board's true self you got?
I do.
For the record, could you state and spell your name?
Matthew Flynn, F-L-Y-N-N.
And your testimony would be planning?
That's correct.
And you have all your certifications, you've been sworn either before this board or other boards in the state of New Jersey?
I have.
Mr. Chairman, he's been sworn and qualified as an expert.
Thank you. Mr. Flynn, I know you shared some of your credentials already with the board, but for the sake of the board and the public, can you please briefly review your experience and qualifications?
Sure. Education comes from Rutgers. I have my master's degree in planning and public policy. I have my AICP license, which is the national licensure for planners, as well as my professional planner's license in the state of New Jersey, of course. Both are in good standing. I've testified before the Fairfield Zoning Board, maybe even the Planning Board at some point, and around 100 other boards across the state.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. So, Mr. Flynn, you've had a chance to review the application. Before we get into, well, let's start here. Can you talk about your assessment of how the application conforms with the IRO zoning ordinance, please?
Sure. So my understanding is that the application does not require any variance relief at this point, partly due to the fact that this has been a work in progress, and we've absolutely listened to the board's and the professionals' concerns regarding the site plan. From a use perspective, from a layout, circulation, design standpoint, we are fully compliant with all of those considerations that go into the formulation of the plan itself.
Thank you. And is it your understanding that this project is also a part of the Fairfield Affordable Housing Planning?
That's correct. Basically, the Mount Laurel decision, as the board knows, stipulates that every township is required to fulfill its constitutional obligation to provide for affordable housing. Most towns throughout the state have provided a fair share housing plan. This property is in the Fairfield's plan.
Thank you. And we did receive an updated memorandum from the board's planner, and there were two comments in that memorandum that we received. The first was with respect to guest parking. And am I correct that with respect, there's sort of two different prongs to this. So one is with respect to the affordable housing guest parking, and that's factored in by virtue of the affordable housing meeting the residential site improvement standards, correct?
That's correct.
And then with respect to the single-family homes, their guest parking is accommodated via a combination of the driveway spaces, but then also the on-street parking that's being proposed within the roads within the community. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. And then the second question that we had from or comment we had from the board planner was with respect to recreational facilities. And no recreation facilities are being proposed as part of the application, but none are required in the IRO zoning. Is that right?
That's right.
Let's see, what else do we need to cover? Can you talk a little bit, please, about when you have a fully conforming application, what the standard is typically for a board to review that application?
Yeah, so the board might be aware there's the Pizzo-Manton case out there, which deals with fully conforming applications. Basically, what that decision rendered is that when an application does not require any variances, the application is obviously considered an as-of-right application. Basically, all of these reasons that we have zoning ordinances in the first place, the reason that we have, for example, setback requirements, parking requirements, coverage, etc., all of that has been met. The purpose behind zoning has therefore been met. The court emphasized in that case that the municipal land use law is designed to produce consistency, predictability. Applicants should be able to read an ordinance, provide what the ordinance asks for, and have a certain level of predictability in terms of getting an approval, hopefully.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Flynn?
Any questions from the board?
Seeing none?
Are you gonna review, Allison's memo?
That's what they just looked at. And I guess my only question about the on-street parking is how many spaces you envision between, or in front of, rather, each particular lot. I forget the exact width of each lot, but, I mean, I guess if
I'm
you
gonna
have a big party, you're just gonna see a long
If I
line
may,
of
let me
cars.
have Mr. Pankey touch on that, because it's maybe a little bit more even in his wheelhouse in terms of the layout, if that's acceptable, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so each of the single-family lots have two-car garages, two-car driveways, which on a functional basis, on a daily basis, is really all that's gonna be used. But there's just abundant parking throughout, so there's effectively a space in front of each home. But I mean, I'm assuming most of you live in single-family communities. It's unusual that you're gonna have parking along the street. So if somebody has an event, they'll be parking, you know, in a space in front of their unit, maybe their neighbor's unit. But there's plenty of flexibility, so to speak, because the roads are 30 feet wide, allow two-sided parking. There's plenty of flexibility for visitors to park near a residence where they're going. But on a day-to-day basis, I would find it highly unlikely that you'll find anyone parked on the street. And then you do have the overnight ordinance, of course, which many communities do, even mine. And you figure that out. You get everybody into your driveway if somebody's staying overnight. That's the way it works. Somehow I'm able to get 5 cars into my driveway. So that's ways, but we didn't really do a calculation. But if you were to do the calculation, you probably have close to 2 per unit on this entire road length, because you do have sections of road where there's no units in front of it. So there's quite an abundance of parking. And as you're aware, actually under RSIS for single-family homes, there's actually no requirement to have separate visitor parking, mostly because of the roads being designed for parallel parking.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
Again, I have a question on Allison's memo. Is that gonna be brought up?
Yes, Mr. LaVerge.
Okay, under the planning review, question 2. For common amenities, can you comment on that? On that comment of hers?
So what we had said is that there are no recreation facilities being proposed other than, walking throughout the community. But your ordinance also does not require any recreation facilities to be proposed.
Okay, but there's a reference here where the apartment applicants are not gonna have anything, but the housing, does it say here that the housing people would have access to something in North Caldwell?
They do not.
I'm sorry?
They do not.
They do not, okay, I just
Correct.
wanted to clarify.
Yeah, everybody's on equal footing.
Everybody is gonna, all of the Fairfield area, there's nothing common for
Correct.
amenities?
There's not a situation where the market owners have different rights than the affordable owners with respect to.
No, I'm talking about
facilities.
what about the homeowners?
That's what I mean.
Oh,
There's no distinct treatment
Okay,
between them.
okay,
Yeah.
so there's no amenities, period?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And the landscaping will be done by one particular company, or every hires their own landscaper?
Oh,
For
the
lawn
community
maintenance.
will handle the landscaping.
lawn
It's not individual homeowners with their own
Lawnmower.
scheme, and some people are mowing their lawn and some people aren't. It's not a good way to.
There was a little
run a
talk,
community.
there was a little talk in the town hall today about possibly an elevator being needed for the the 3-story COA units. Could you just talk about that? And if you-
Sure. So the barrier-free subcode is typically what dictates when you require an elevator. They are not required by code for either the age-restricted or, for that matter, any other building of the 3-story model type. It's pretty typical for a 3-story building to not include elevators, whether it's an affordable housing building or a market rate housing building. And I think there's prior testimony on that from Mr. Santolo when he talked about their experience with buildings all over the state of New Jersey, market and rental, not including the elevators in those buildings. Again, not required by code. And they are actually a big ticket item with respect to the cost of the buildings, so it's something that we don't typically do as it does, and there's case law that talks about that falling within the cost generative side of things.
Okay. So obviously, we don't have jurisdiction if an elevator needs to be there or not, but if our construction official feels it does need it, and he can provide you with documentation or statute that is needed, would you be able to put it in? Or, obviously, you're gonna rebuke that and say it's not needed, and then obviously we'd have to come to some type of agreement where you'd go to the Construction Board of Appeals maybe and discuss it with them if it's needed or not
Well,
needed.
I mean, so what I would say is certainly we have to comply with the code, and the
Absolutely.
applicant agrees that it will comply with the code. We don't have
Okay.
any choice to the contrary. So if it were to become a code requirement that was applicable to us, we would have to figure it out.
Okay.
But as of today, it isn't a code requirement, there's nothing, and obviously I would imagine you did your homework, doesn't seem like it's your first rodeo. So,
It is,
as much as people like it, it's not necessary by code.
correct,
So,
Mr.
but,
Dutcher, it's
uh,
not a requirement today.
So NJAC 523.7, the barrier-free, your building is over 10,000 square feet, you have 3 floors, and I think they're more than 5,000 square foot per floor?
3,000?
Isn't that?
3,000?
3,000, I'm sorry, 3,000.
Again, what our architect has told us is there is no code requirement to install an elevator. If there were a code requirement that we have to have one, we would have to have one. I mean, we have, again, we
You
have
may
to
want
comply
to
with
look at
code.
that.
I can read it if you want me to, but the way that I understand it is that the general building requirements, it says a building must provide a vertical access route. The thresholds are story and area. Any building with 3 or more stories where any single floor is 3,000 square feet or more. The total square footage threshold is buildings with a total gross enclosed floor area of 10,000 square feet or more are generally required to have an elevator. Now, we can argue like what generally means, but it says, note, in these large buildings, floors smaller than 3,000 square feet may be exempt from an elevator service unless they house certain public or employee facilities.
So how many square feet is each floor?
More than 3,000.
More than 3,000.
Yeah, but it doesn't say must, that says generally.
Yeah, again, I would say if the code requires it, we have no choice but to comply, and we will.
So would that change the footprint of the building if it would be required?
If it did, we'd have to come back to you probably for a modification, but
Okay.
let's cross that bridge when we get to it, because our architect has said that we
You're gonna
don't.
put an elevator shaft in, and obviously it's gonna eat up some square footage.
Right.
So, sorry?
I said, don't go back to the bridge.
No, we're
You
not
said
going.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to
Oh.
it.
That's right, I got bridges on the brain. But no, so our understanding is it's not required by code. If it were required by code, we understand we'd have to
Okay.
comply. And we'd have, if that required a plan modification, it would require a plan
Plan
modification.
modification. Okay, so our construction official will obviously talk with you and your people.
think that
and
makes
Figure it
sense.
out.
Yep,
That's for the one building, but there is one in the age-restricted building, correct?
Yes.
I thought they,
yes, there is one in the age-restricted building. There is not one in the
Right.
family building.
as of now.
Sitting here today, on the plans today,
Okay.
there is an elevator in the age-restricted building. There is not an elevator in the family building.
Okay, thank you.
And the age-restricted building looks smaller than the non-age restricted building. So going back to what Allison said, you really should look at that.
Well, the reason why one was it's typically not, it's by code, our position is, it's not required for either building, but because of the age-restricted use, we thought that it would be nice to have for folks over 55. So that was the thinking in terms of including it. And the reason why it's smaller is because you don't have 3-bedroom units in the age-restricted building. It's not required by the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, and the over 55 folks don't really need the 3rd bedroom, as you might expect.
Okay.
But they still have bags of groceries and refrigerators to move.
Non-age restricted
Yeah.
is over 6,000.
And God forbid stretchers to go down, up and down.
Age restricted.
Stretchers to go up and down for
around
EMTs.
5,000 apiece, or 5,500.
Any other questions from the board at this time?
at this point.
Any questions from the public for this planner
Yeah.
in regards to, not the water right now? That'll be at the end. You can speak at the end. Oh, okay, you're welcome. You're welcome to come up.
Should we clear a path there? Short on microphone.
May I use your,
Oh, please, go ahead.
Microphone.
I'll move my stuff out of my.
Thanks.
And just for the record, state your name and spell it, please.
Stuart Friedman, Freedman, 33 Schindler Way. You went very quickly over the parking, and it defies me if you had the hypothetical party where more than 5 or 6 cars aren't gonna end up being parked in front of someone else's driveway, my neighbor's driveway.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is that there's a parking requirement in place. We comply with it. Conceivably, the parking requirement takes into account these types of situations, but, you know, we
Yeah,
obviously.
if I look at this, at row D, looks to me like it's gonna be, if that's, these are 2-car garages? On this plan, it appears that the driveway out is only a space for 1 car.
I'm gonna have Mr. Pinky explain if you don't mind, just because he's.
No, sure.
So
Go ahead.
I have a bad,
No.
That's all right. So the scale of this exhibit is difficult because it is a large community, but all of these driveways are 20 feet wide. They're all 2-car driveways, 2-car garages, more than meeting all current standards for the convenient parking. And then in between each, there's more than ample space for parked vehicles. So you would not have a situation where you're not gonna be able to find a space along the road that's gonna push you to park in front of your neighbor's driveway. I don't envision that whatsoever. So, you know, I understand the scale of this. It's hard to envision how this really translates to a house with a driveway, but these dimensions are not tight. They are meeting standards for the safe movement of vehicles in and
so
out of
each of the
driveways.
white spots is a
Is
2-car.
a
Car width.
2-car width,
And you're
correct.
proposing that they would park in the front of the so-called green area?
Correct.
So how many fire hydrants would be on the property that you wouldn't be able
There
to
was a
park? in
fire
front of?
hydrant, yeah, obviously, that's
Right.
a striped out space. That's
Answer my question. Unfortunately, when people have parties anywhere in town, cars get parked in front of other people's houses.
Yeah.
Just kind of the lay of the land. I live in one of those communities. Oh, I know where you live.
Any other questions from the public? Seeing no one? Continue.
Okay, so this concludes our presentation,
Oh,
Mr.
no,
Chair.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Not of the planner or the traffic, but Mr. Petrie, did we resolve anything with the reconstruction of the Greenbrook where the walls are falling down and jutting out? Have the owners of the property taken responsibility to fix those things? And also the abutment by this, on the Woodmont property, the office building, I'm assuming, and I don't know this, but I'm assuming that would be his responsibility to do something with the abutment that's falling and the boulder that's about to come
Yes,
crashing down?
Those comments are in our last memo, and those comments haven't been addressed, but I think would need to be, if this board were going forward with a vote, at this point, I think they would need to be conditions. I'm walking through my report right now to see what items have been addressed and what items haven't been addressed in my memo of February.
So, and I think that the testimony that we had on that subject by Mr. Cruz was that the applicant will maintain the abutments on its property, but we don't have the permission to go onto other people's property. And so that had been what we had
I
testified.
understand that, but who's gonna take care of that one abutment that's not on your property? That everything is connected to the Greenbrook and comes down into the Greenbrook and flows down towards Passaic Avenue?
Well, from a practical perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, both attorneys, I think the office complex is where that abutment is located.
Correct,
And the office complex is part of this application.
correct. So they will be responsible for it. It will be a condition.
If it's not the applicant, then it should, the office complex owner has to take care of it.
Okay,
It's part of this application.
Just as they're upgrading the bridge, they would have to make the changes to those other items that Mr. Gasparini's talking about? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Offsite again.
It's off-site
Just
improvements.
as they're
Right,
improving
well,
the
I just-
bridge, you're gonna.
I just want it on the record
Yes.
because
I agree.
I don't even know that it's off-site improvements because
Yeah, because it is
technically,
it's on-site, they're using it.
yeah, technically, the office complex is part of this application, so.
We will agree to, between us, between the applicant and the owner of the Greenbrook, we'll coordinate to address it,
You'll coordinate the,
to address it.
okay.
That means
So that'll
fix.
be a
That means
condition.
fix.
Yeah, to fix, right, to, I,
So-
I don't know what needs to be done, but to resolve the issue.
So have you worked out, I know you worked out with the sewer issue and who's gonna take ownership, and I know there was a little conflict about the water side of the utility. So maybe you can just touch on that and who's gonna have ownership on what, on the water utility?
So I don't know that we know yet. I know that Mr. Burry was trying to help us work with the DPW and Water Department
Has he
folks.
gotten in touch with you yet?
I've not seen a conclusion. This is with respect to ownership of the water pipes. I don't know that I've seen a conclusion on that yet.
I have not seen that yet.
So my
our
suggestion, if it would
operator.
be acceptable, is that we continue, if the board were inclined to approve the application, we would agree to a condition to continue to work with Mr. Burry and the DPW and the Water Department to see what can be, we're clear on what the goal is to accomplish, but at the same time, we don't want to frustrate your BWSE permit. So no matter what we said, we'll be responsible for the maintenance, and then it's just a question of what needs to happen with the ownership.
So there's a number of conditions with this application, which I don't
Yes.
think I could, off the top of my head and with my notes, come up with
Mhm.
that list.
So, oh, God, I'm sorry.
So you want to meet, and I've talked to our, the engineer. We're putting together that list, those
Mhm.
conditions from his letters. It's gonna be quite lengthy, as I'm sure you know.
Mhm.
I have some of my own that I've been taking notes. You're gonna ask the board are you gonna ask the board to vote tonight?
We are, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry, Mr. Chan.
So with that in mind, it's gonna, again, be conditioned on a list of conditions.
So listen, do you think, and then this is for all of us, do you think we should have the vote tonight or wait for the
I gotta see
memorialization
the conditions.
of the conditions and then we'll vote as a board at the next meeting, which would be June 9th?
I want to see the conditions.
I would
Uh,
think
we would work-
absolutely
I'm sorry,
we
Mr. Chairman,
should
did you
see
say
a list
June
of
9th?
conditions.
Yes.
There's no meeting in May?
No, we're not gonna have a meeting in May because all of us have a conflict with our personal lives.
Personal lives. I would say, I think it would be valuable to the board, or to the applicant, if we could have a vote this evening, and maybe it would be pursuant to, or subject to conditions to be agreed upon, and reviewed as part of the resolution memorialization. As you know, the board votes again on the resolution, but I think it would be, rather than waiting till the end, or to June, we have other commitments in terms of to our seller, as well as the neighboring property owners whom we've negotiated for these easements, et cetera, that we need to be able to tell them where we stand.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know where you're gonna get the final review for the elevator, who's gonna make that decision with the lawyers. I wanna see that, and I'd like to say, I gotta see these conditions, I'm sorry, there's too many involved.
So if you did vote, you'd get a draft of the resolution, and then you'd have to do a final vote.
So the final vote will be June 9th anyway.
Yes.
So to get it, the vote tonight, it's not really gonna be memorialized to June 9th.
But
Correct.
it's incumbent again on the two
I'm not
attorneys
reading-
and the
I'm not-
engineers to come up with that
We
list. of
usually
conditions.
see the conditions.
Yeah.
At every board meeting, we've always seen the conditions before we even did the
Before we make
first
a
vote.
Listen, I think this is a big project, and my personal opinion, I think we need to wait. Based on the size of the project and the conditions of the project.
If that's the case, I think we'd have to ask you to consider to have a special meeting ahead of June 9th. That's just about 2 months from today. And the applicant really needs to have some closure on this process. It's been just about a year since we submitted the application.
Okay, so at what point will you have the resolution completed?
I already have a 55-page draft, but I have to work on the conditions. I have to get the engineering ones.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, the conditions are like another book.
It'll be another, probably
I
10
have,
pages.
I have 31 conditions so far, plus some of the things in my letter from February 20th that haven't been resolved yet.
I don't think we're even close to being able to answer this tonight.
I mean, I'm guessing that we're gonna have 50 conditions.
So is it general consensus that we're not gonna vote tonight?
I'm not prepared.
No,
Right.
absolutely not.
So then that brings us, do we do a special meeting, or do we do a special meeting, or do you need time to June 9th to put your resolutions and your conditions together, both of
Well,
you?
I just think it's easier. I don't think you want a resolution here and then have problems with it and it's not approved. So I
On
think
June 9th?
we need to work together and come up with something that was the conditions that were put forth, that you agreed to, that you're not gonna get, your client's not gonna get, set aside if he sees something and he doesn't think it's.
Especially since Mr. Petrie had conditions that weren't satisfied yet. So I would like to see something on paper.
So
I have a question, and again, it's maybe deemed foolish, but is there a way to do a first and final in one meeting, or you have to leave the 30-day window for anyone to come back and say, hey, what about this?
No, we can do a vote and you can approve the resolution. But again, I would, it's easier always to have that resolution put together, agreed upon by the applicant. Usually I'll do the resolution, I'll send it to the applicant's attorney when there's an applicant's attorney, and it's just a cleaner process.
So what I would say is typically along the way, as you know, there's conditions that are discussed as part of the application, which we've been doing along the way here. Granted, it's been a long way because there's been many hearings, and we did actually include in our response letter, we tried to identify the conditions from Mr. Petrie's memo, for example, that would be conditions of approval to try to help with that process. Most typically, in my experience, is along the lines of what you saw earlier this evening with the resolutions that you adopted, where you have an application that's presented, there's a vote, and then at a subsequent meeting, there's an adoption of a resolution that memorializes that approval. And one of the question that the board answers when it votes on that resolution is whether the resolution accurately memorializes the decision of the board. So typically, in my experience, and it seems like even from the earlier business this evening, first the board votes and then the resolution is adopted. And I think the record would cover the conditions that we've agreed to. Again, that being said, I think as the alternative, we would have to request a special meeting because I don't think that we're gonna need 2 months to finalize this list by any means.
How long do you need?
I would
Mike,
do,
how
I
long do you
think,
think you need?
like, for probably about 4 weeks.
Honestly.
Back and forth?
Yeah, honestly, I think that we could go through our letter and the list that we started, and I could probably have something for you, before the end of April. But that's
That'd be,
my draft.
that'd be
for you.
2 weeks then to you, and I think that's a good timing, so we'd have a special.
At least a month.
Pick a day in May.
It seems like we're looking at something like the second week of May then, since we're in the second week of April.
That's
That's
the
the
conflict.
meeting that we can't do.
Can
and
we
the
do
last 2
either
week-
the
last
week
2 weeks
before or
of
the
May.
week after?
It would have to be the week, and I don't know how anybody else's
Well, that's
schedule is.
just it. Our next meeting is a workshop meeting, which is the Tuesday
26th.
after,
26th is the day after Memorial.
Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know whether we have a quorum or not, to be quite honest and frank with you.
Then we're at the first week of June.
Do folks have a sense of their availability? It seems like you have pretty much your whole board here this evening for the 26th.
I won't be here.
I don't know what you,
I mean, I'm not.
we
gonna
can
be
do,
available.
tentatively do
Yeah.
May 26th, and if there's not a quorum, there's not a quorum, but I don't know what to say at that point. It's a scheduled workshop meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The 26th is the day after Memorial Day.
Right. Is later in the week better for a special, I mean, I wouldn't
Just,
expect
so
it to be a
just so you know,
long
it's
meeting.
actually the Wednesday. I think
Oh,
we
it's the
got bumped.
Wednesday, okay.
Yeah, it's on the
27th.
schedule.
That's
It's the
even
Wednesday
better.
after
It's the
Memorial,
Wednesday
not the
then.
Tuesday. I don't know if that helps or hurts anyone.
Yeah,
May 27th.
that does help.
The schedule.
So that would be the 27th, Steve?
Yeah. That's the Wednesday.
27th?
Hold on.
I might not be right.
Hold on a
Okay.
second.
Wait,
I got it here.
yeah, the 26th is a Tuesday.
So if I may, John Peck, P-E-C-K, representative of Toll Brothers. I want to thank the board and all of you. You have put in an awful lot of time going over these plans and review letters, and I want to thank your professionals, everybody associated with the application. I think we've been treated fairly. I also think that on behalf of the applicant, we have made considerable concessions all along the way, almost at every hearing, to try and make the approval vote more palatable to everybody on the board. I'm not aware of any condition that could be reasonably proposed by Mr. King or Mr. Petrie that we're not A, already aware of, or B, expecting. And I know that most of those are probably procedural in nature that come with every application of this size. Subject to county approval, subject to DEP, subject to the fire department, subject to everybody and their brother reiterating what we've already agreed to in testimony and on the record. As Ms. Coffey said, we've been here since last July for what we anticipated to be a very short sequence of meetings, given the settlement agreement, the zoning in place, and the fact that we needed no variances. I would simply like to ask that we reconsider a vote this evening, subject to the conditions being reviewed by Mr. Petrie, Mr. King, and Ms. Coffey, which I do not expect to find disagreement with in any way, shape, or form. Given the fact that you don't have another meeting scheduled for another 6 weeks from now. Time is becoming critical to the applicant. We have contractual obligations to get certain things down to Trenton. We have obligations that have been represented to other properties around us for things that we've gotten achieved relative to Old Mill Road and other things. And to have this go on for another 6-week period before a vote, then a resolution 30 days subject to that, or whatever that time frame might be, is a hardship on the applicant. So I understand you have the right and the wherewithal, and it seems like a lot, but I can tell you on behalf of the applicant, I would not expect, I've been here to every hearing just like you guys have. I haven't heard a condition that we haven't agreed to comply with. If we had that situation, we would have argued it out in testimony. So again, I would simply ask for your consideration to take a vote, understanding that you have an applicant here that has shown extreme consideration for the board's wishes in terms of every aspect of this project. For what that's worth, thank you.
Can I ask a question? What is your status currently with North Cordwell? Just out of curiosity, where do you sit in that process?
Our
Not-
night, oh, go ahead.
About the same about the same place we are here. We have a hearing there on Monday night. And
Looking
we'll
for a
conclude
vote.
testimony there just as we did here on Monday night. And in North Caldwell, it's been the same way. We haven't been belligerent in one town and, and nice in the
No,
other.
I didn't think
We-
that. I was just wondering, timing-wise, how you were doing there.
We're at the exact same stage of the meeting line. In fact, if that were happened to go into May, we would have a hardship if that went into June as well. So again, just based on our history here in front of this board, the fact that we're Toll Brothers, the fact that we're going to be hopefully building in your town and want to be good neighbors, I would just ask for that consideration for a vote this evening. Thank you.
Your thoughts, Mayor?
No, I mean, he's absolutely right. They have been accommodating to just about everything. And, our professionals, I think, agreed on that. Steve, are we okay with just about everything that we sent them? I mean, we haven't gotten any pushback yet?
No.
Mr. Petrie?
No, not from me. I mean,
What are your concerns? Tell me.
We did get some geotechnical information in this submittal. That geotechnical information has not been shown to us on the plans. It's in a report form, and it's good information. They took a great number of test pits, and we'd like to see them on the plans. Because my concern from the beginning has been you're doing excavation and filling in areas, and you have your bioretention basins in areas where you have to provide the soils information. So where is that in relationship to finished grade? That's what we would like to see. There was a sewer study that was recently completed. We got the opportunity to go through that sewer study, and I couldn't write a report because I literally didn't finish going through it until today. That sewer study shows that if one were to use the average conditions in the flow testing that was performed, that there's sufficient capacity in the system for this development. I will tell you quite candidly that it leaves very little additional capacity in those same pipes for any of the other overlay zones within this area. If one were to use the maximum flow conditions, I don't know that it would be as favorable. I don't think that it has the capacity that it needs to have.
So what are the ramifications of that if, I mean,
There may be sanitary sewer upgrades that we don't know about yet. And those sanitary sewer upgrades, you know, are in difficult places. They're in wetlands. This
right,
pipe,
so assuming that you say there's not enough capacity, what happens?
you upgrade the sewer.
the sewer has to be upgraded.
But now they have a standard that they have to go by, right? You said the minimum, right?
Yeah, what,
Well, the question to parlay on what the mayor's saying is if they have a standard and we're saying from our side that that standard may not meet what we consider okay, and they say, well, hey, wait, you can't impose more than what the standard is, and you become an impasse. And let's just say hypothetically we voted today. You go do your due diligence and you say, wait a minute, red flag, this needs to change. And they say, well, you know what? We're not changing it. Where does that put us as a board in position?
Based on the conditions that we put forth, I guess that's a legal question, but if we put forth those conditions, won't they have to meet them?
Well, no.
Can a resolution not be memorialized after we make it, after we?
Of the second vote?
You would vote it down if it was.
So if we make.
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
That's what I'm asking. If we have 30 pages of conditions.
Yep.
That we would agree to. Excuse me. 30 pages that we agree to. And now there's something in there that's, they don't agree to it for whatever reason. Can we, on the point of memorialization, say no? And then those conditions become void?
The answer would be, yes, you could, but then they would be in court probably, a week would take you for a prerogative writ action, saying that your denial was, unless it was a substantial, denial on it couldn't be because of the color of a house.
Or an elevator.
Probably not. But.
So, with respect to the two comments that Mr. Petrie identified as items that his office is still evaluating, the way that one could handle it would be conditions requiring the applicant, in the case of the geotech, to make those plan revisions to the extent that, to coordinate with Mr. Petrie to determine whether plan revisions are necessary, and then to make the plan revisions that are necessary. And with respect to the upgrades, to the extent, this is to the sewer now, to the extent those are required, the applicant would agree as a condition to coordinate with Mr. Petrie as to what those upgrades are and installing
Mr. Petrie, are those, is that the most egregious that you can see going forward, is the sewer capacity?
yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I think the sewer capacity and the and the information on the test pits on the grading plans. Those are my two biggest concerns, because quite frankly, you know, if one has groundwater 3 feet below grade and one is cutting 12 feet at that location, that's not gonna be a good result. And I don't know that anybody's looked at that yet.
And if they don't have capacity, they're not gonna be building.
You
You're not
can't.
gonna get-
Right.
You can't. But from a practical perspective, it's, you know, whose responsibility is that? And quite frankly, what happens going forward? Their proposed flow is, you know, about 1 million gallons a day between the two projects. And you've got capacity for, I'm sorry, you know, 100,000 gallons per day for, between the two projects. You've got capacity for about 50,000 gallons per day left in those pipes. You have other overlay zones along this stretch of Passaic Avenue that go through that same sewer line. So what happens? What might happen, what could happen, is that your affordable component for those sites that you have considered goes out the window because you don't have sanitary sewer capacity to service them.
And then you go by the way of a durational adjustment 10 years from, or 9 years from now. I'm sorry. I just said, in that scenario, for your affordable obligations going forward, you would request a durational adjustment because you don't have the sewer infrastructure for that
Right.
obligation.
So is that a solution or a bigger problem?
It
I just
depends
didn't-
on
I
who you
didn't
are
get it.
on
That's
either
gonna be
side.
my point. Does the state come along and say, well, it's too bad, you have to?
No, they don't.
So if we were to do a special meeting, is the week of May 4th available to everyone here? And would that be enough time for you to do what we need to do, the attorney and? That would be the week before our regular meeting, which would be the 12th.
I have a scheduled blowout, but I guess I can push it.
Would that be enough time for you?
It would certainly be enough time for
The
us.
week of May 4th?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just check if we have enough time to advertise, because that's not on our schedule, like the
Okay.
April
You-
28th.
I think we do.
Yeah, the requirement is 48 hours in advance of a special meeting for public notice.
Okay. That we have.
Well, it doesn't have to be on the 4th, it'd be the week of May 4th.
Just do not make it on Tuesday. The Board of Adjustment actually,
Okay.
their workshop, not likely they'll hold it, but they actually own the day. own the
Looking at your,
Tuesday.
your calendar, it looks like the 4th and the 7th, which is the Monday and the Thursday, are both unclaimed days for the municipal building.
How's May 7th, Thursday? For everyone.
Anybody have a
Anybody have a
conflict
conflict
on
May
May
7th?
7th?
Make it work. That's good? Or,
Thank you.
we'll
I-
meet
We
halfway
appreciate
then?
it.
We
Thank
very
you.
much
Okay.
appreciate your
Before
consideration.
we vote, we have to open it to the,
Yeah, we're gonna open up to
you're
the,
done, you're not gonna, you don't have any last,
no one
Well, I was
other-
gonna, if it's all right, depending on what feedback we have from the public, I may make some last comments, but
Okay.
that would be it.
So at this point,
We'll get copies of the, before that.
we're gonna open up the meeting to the public, for or against this project. Anybody like to come up and, speak? Step right up.
Paul, is there a problem with the 5th?
No, well, you use the microphone though. That we do want, 'cause we want to make sure we can hear you.
He said he didn't think so.
We'll talk about it.
I'm very thankful to Stuart Friedman from Schindler Way. I'm very thankful to the board because I almost saw a rush to judgment, which for perhaps the largest project you may review as this body was going on I may use the phrase, a half-assed documentation. For 55 years, I practiced law, not in the municipal frame, but in the commercial frame. And to go with an unfinished work after the applicant had set, for more than 5 years, I've been looking at a plan that was residing in this office, proposed by them. And now, all of a sudden, this becomes an emergency that has to be done. They could have stopped the
golf games a year earlier and been way ahead, but no. Now they come here and it's a one-year situation. Please, you exercised great judgment in doing that. I compliment you on that. I ask you that when you make a final decision on this, that you do it with protection to all of the residents of the township. Those who are coming and are going to be new residents, those who live adjacent to and live in fear, honestly, of the new project and what it may do with 3-foot water table and things like that being created. And those that we don't even know about who may well face more floods up and down Passaic Avenue as a result of this project. So thank you for that. Exercise that same kind of judgment and don't get hurried into this decision that you may be sorry about down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is a project that we didn't take lightly, and that's why Mr. Petrie is sitting here with us today, and that's why our administrator and our engineer and our mayor were involved in looking at this project. And we certainly has taken this project very seriously based on the size of it. And that's why we're a little leery to vote tonight, and we'd rather do a special meeting as their attorney suggested, and I think that's
Let's just close
it's a
the
medium.
public, seeing no
Yeah.
other members from the public, close the public portion.
So that's why I assure you that we didn't take this project lightly. Is there anyone else from the public that'd like to be heard? Seeing no one. Okay, so,
Before, we gotta check the date.
yeah, we're gonna check another date. Steve, is May 5th available? It's a Tuesday.
Board of Adjustment, that, Board of Adjustment has on their already approved calendar.
What time?
7:30.
I have that as canceled.
I couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
7:30 Tuesday.
You
Can-
try for earlier?
Can we do 6:30?
I don't
I
know.
mean, to,
Worth the discussion.
On the 5th, this is?
on the 5th?
No, I have it as canceled.
We can
Are
be
you
here
available on
earlier.
the 5th?
Sure.
Or 6 o'clock?
So, that's their,
You name the time.
Let me,
I can't tell you that officially, but I don't think it's highly unlikely.
okay. We'll do it early on the 5th. Steve, are you good with the 5th?
7?
Earlier?
Yeah. Works, yeah. Yeah, we're just checking the time.
Okay.
Joe can come at 7. I'm in another town.
Here is 4.
People can call. Tuesday the 5th?
5th at 7.
Probably do Tuesday
Notice for
the 5th
Zoom,
at 7.
open it to the
It's a
public.
workshop meeting.
Supply a
that
link and
right
all
now has nothing on the docket, correct?
Correct.
So you're talking May 5th,
May 5th.
correct? Tuesday at 6:30?
No,
Is that what you said? 7?
Same time as always.
Okay,
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 we'll be here.
okay, so we're gonna carry.
Great.
And with, so there's gonna be a motion to carry it with all, your client agrees to it.
Yes, we agreed to
And-
carry to May 5th, and we appreciate you scheduling the
Okay.
meeting. It's
May
it's
5th, 7 PM,
helpful.
we're gonna carry. You have a motion to carry? Steve, want to take the roll?
Okay, Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mr. Gasparini.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Moreno.
Aye.
Mr. Palafonte. Oh, sorry, Mr. Dutcher.
Aye.
Mr. Castelli. Mr. Latimer.
Aye.
Chairman Capone.
Aye. See you
Thank
May
you.
5th.
Yeah, we appreciate you making the time.
welcome.
Thank you.
Mayor, can we have the air conditioner on next time?
Yes.
Jim?
I don't know, we've got to pay the bill.
Can't afford it.
Hey, we not be able to pay the bill if we don't.
Guys, it's not over. It's not over. It's not over. Okay.
Okay, under miscellaneous, we have approval of the bills for Feature Engineering, invoice 25155-11. We have a motion to.
So moved.
Second.
Why don't you do, can we do them both together? Oh,
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mr. Gasparini.
aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Perino. Mr. Dutcher. Mr. Castelli. Mr. Latimer. Chairman Cafone.
We have another call for King, Munch, and Collins, 96572. We have a motion.
So move.
Second.
Mayor Galise.
Aye.
Mr. Gasparini.
Aye.
Councilman LaForgia.
Aye.
Mr. Perino. Mr. Dutcher. Mr. Castelli. Mr. Latimer. Chairman Cafone.
Aye. And do we have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.